his first term, Donald Trump was unpredictable, but calculated. He built walls, made deals, avoided wars, and left office with the economy intact. In his second term, he threatened to annex Canada. He demanded Greenland by force. He publicly threatened Saudi Arabia, one of America's closest allies, with devastating tariffs if they didn't obey. He fired half his cabinet in a single afternoon. He stood in front of world leaders and said things that made his own advisors look at the floor. Something changed, and the question nobody in mainstream media will ask is, what if it wasn't age? What if it wasn't arrogance? What if someone is blackmailing the most powerful man on earth, and he has no way out? Let's go back to 2017. Love him or hate him, and the world was divided. First-term Trump operated with a certain discipline. He was loud, yes. He was provocative, absolutely. But underneath the noise, there was a strategy. He didn't start new wars. He actually pulled troops out of Syria. He launched exactly 0 new military invasions, and the first president in decades to do so. He negotiated directly with Kim Jong-un. He brokered the Abraham Accords, normalizing relations between Israel and 4 Arab nations. Something career diplomats said was impossible. His base loved him, but more importantly, independents respected the results. Economically, pre-COVID America was running hot. Unemployment hit historic lows. Manufacturing came back to states that hadn't seen it in 30 years. Working-class Americans, the people both parties had forgotten, felt seen for the first time in a generation. Was he chaotic? Yes. Was he controversial? Every single day. But there was a logic to it, a method to the madness. First-term Trump played the game. Hard and dirty, but he played it. Second-term Trump is a different animal entirely. Within the first 90 days, he proposed absorbing Canada as the 51st state. Not as a joke, but in official policy discussions. He suggested the United States should take control of Greenland, and when Denmark said no, he implied military force wasn't off the table. He publicly threatened Saudi Arabia, one of America's most critical strategic allies, with tariffs and economic retaliation that would have been unthinkable in his first term. He fired his Secretary of Defense, his National Security Advisor, and his Director of National Intelligence within the same month. He replaced them with loyalists who had 0 relevant experience. He signed executive orders so fast that his own legal team couldn't review them before they went public. Several were immediately blocked by courts. He didn't seem to care. Former aides who worked with him in the first term, the people who defended him publicly for years, started giving off-record interviews to journalists. The words they used were consistent across sources: erratic, unfocused, paranoid. One former senior official said, and I'm paraphrasing, "It's like he stopped listening to anyone, like he already knows how it ends, and he's just burning everything down on the way out." That is a very specific thing to say, so what does he know? Here is where the theory begins. Every powerful man accumulates secrets. Decades in business, decades in politics, decades in rooms where cameras don't roll and reporters don't enter. Donald Trump has been in those rooms for 50 years. The question isn't whether material exists. In Washington, material always exists. The question is who has it and what they want in return. Look at the pattern. Every decision that makes no strategic sense for America, every ally insulted, every institution weakened, every experienced official replaced with someone who asks no questions. This is not the behavior of a man executing a plan. This is the behavior of a man executing someone else's plan. Somewhere, someone is holding something. And whatever it is, it's enough to make the most powerful man in the world act like he has already lost. The blackmail doesn't need a name. It just needs to be real enough that Trump believes it. And clearly, he does. Now ask yourself, if you were being shown proof of your darkest secret, how would you behave? Would you start making enemies of your allies? Would you stop caring about consequences? Would you act like a man who knows the walls are closing in and has nothing left to lose? Or would you act like a man who has been told exactly what to do and is doing it? Look at the decisions that make no strategic sense. Alienating Saudi Arabia, a country that pumps billions into U.S. assets. serves no American interest. It does serve the interests of whoever wants America isolated. Destabilizing NATO, the most successful military alliance in history, serves no American interest. It does serve the interests of adversaries who have spent decades trying to fracture it, firing experienced intelligence officials and replacing them with loyalists who don't know what they don't know, serves no American interest. It does serve the interests of anyone who wants American intelligence capabilities weakened. Every single chaotic second-term decision, when you map it against who benefits, points in the same direction, and it's not America. Is Trump being blackmailed? Is he being controlled? Is he simply a 78-year-old man whose grip on reality is loosening under the most stressful job on earth? Maybe it's all three. Maybe none of it. But the pattern exists, and patterns in politics are never accidental. The man who ran in 2016 and the man sitting in the Oval Office in 2025 are not the same person. Something happened between those two terms. Something changed the calculus. Something made Donald Trump the ultimate deal maker, the man who spent 50 years building leverage over others. Start acting like a man who has lost his. What did they show him? Subscribe to Political Stories, because the official version is never the full story.